Oh my God, it smells amazing.
Yeah. Boom. Oh my God. Drippy. Today I am trying something new. I am going to try making roasted turkey for lunch meat sandwiches at home. So this is a 9-pound, almost 9 pound, 8.5 pound turkey breast. This is both sides of the breast. I am using the recipe from allrecipes.com, but they only use half of it and they call for dry herbs. I'm gonna be using fresh herbs. All right, so I've got my thyme, rosemary, and oregano. So the recipe does not call for onion or garlic powder, but that feels sacrilegious to not put on the roasted turkey. So I'm basing this off of that recipe, but I'm kind of doing my own thing also. This calls for 2.5 to 3 pound skin on bone and half breast. I have almost 9 pounds. So I'm going to make this a 3 times recipe. Seven and a half teaspoons of salt. 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. So I'm going with 1 tablespoon of normal paprika, not smoked. Probably gonna go with a tablespoon each of garlic and onion powder. And then I am just gonna chop up these herbs finely. Yep. Thyme. A lot of this thyme, the stems are pretty tender because it's new growth. So if any of those tender stems get in there, I'm not necessarily worried about it, but I am trying to get at least the more woody stems out of here. Okay. All right, I need to get the oven preheating to 450 degrees. So herbs are going in this bigger bowl. 3 tablespoons of olive oil. All right, now I'm gonna pour that spice mix in there. I might need to do more olive oil in here, but we shall see. You wanna mix with the stem. Okay. It's still got a big old piece of ice in here. Gravy, oh God. A lot of these scraps I'll cook up and feed it to the dogs or something. I'm actually gonna cut down the ribs down the side. There. Okay. So I'm gonna pat this as dry as I can. Okay. What the recipe called to do was to put the seasoning on the skin, but honestly, I want to put the seasoning under the skin because I'm probably going to end up taking the skin off. But the reason I'm not taking the skin off completely is because it will protect the meat and give it a little bit of moisture and fat. All right, so I've exposed underneath. the meat. Okay, and I do want to make sure that I get the underside. I know it's mostly bone, but I want to make sure I get this part of the meat here. If you can get your fingers in here, you can feel where the tenderloin separates. Trying to get some seasoning in there. Get some up here. Okay. And then they poked the skin so that way it would like render out the fat and everything. I am gonna do that. And I'm gonna make sure to get this like, there's like some fatty parts over on the side. I'm gonna make sure to really get that. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water to the bottom of the roasting pan. Let's go ahead and get it in the oven. The oven was preheated to 450 degrees, and the recipe calls for once you put it in, the second you put it in, bump the oven down to 300. So it's gonna cook low and slow. You just want that first blast of really hot air. Roast it until it's 150 degrees, about an hour and 15 minutes. Again, I did do a full breast, so it's probably gonna take 2.5 hours. In the meantime, I do have the scraps here. I'm going to put them in a baggie, put them in the freezer, because I'm probably not going to cut the meat off the bone until tomorrow, once it's like fully cooled and has been in the fridge overnight. I am going to use this for stock, and I will check the turkey in probably 2 hours, but I'm not even going to open the oven because it's a full bone-in turkey breast. I'm telling you, it hasn't even been 3 minutes and I can already smell the spices and the herbs. It smells good already. I am excited for this. It's been in for about 2.5 hours. Boom. Now that that is out of the oven, I'm just gonna let it cool for as long as it needs to at room temperature, and then wrap it nicely and really tightly and put it in the fridge to cool overnight, and then I will slice it tomorrow when it's nice and cold and I can get it really, really thin. It's now the next day, and I am taking the scraps from the raw turkey as well as the carcass from the roasted turkey and putting it in the Instant Pot. I'm filling the bag that I kept the carcass in with water so I can get all of the seasonings and everything that was left behind, and then topping off with water until the max fill line. and adding a little bit of white wine vinegar to help extract all the collagen for my bone broth. Next, I'm putting it in my Instant Pot on high pressure for 3 hours, and I will let it naturally release. While that's going, I want to go ahead and get my pie dough made so that way it's ready and it can be chilled in the fridge whenever I need to roll it out. Whenever I make pie crust, I don't really follow a specific recipe. I do follow a ratio, which is 3-2-1. That's 3 parts flour to 2 parts butter to 1 part water. So in this case, I do 12 ounces of flour to 8 ounces of butter to 4 ounces of water. I cut the butter into thin slices, and then I toss each slice in the flour before flattening out each slice with my hand and breaking it up into smaller pieces. People tend to like to use the indicator pea-sized pieces, but I actually like to try and keep my butter in long, flat flakes almost. Now that it's slightly mixed in, I am adding cold water, just as much as I need for it to come together. I'm gonna mix it a little bit here in my dish and then turn it out onto my surface just to work with it a little bit easier. Once my dough has started to come together slightly when I hold it, I actually like to bust out my rolling pin now and flatten out those butter layers. Then I fold the dough on top of itself and repeat. I do this a couple of times until it starts to hold its shape and really become one cohesive piece of dough. Then I fold it up into a rectangle and put it into a Ziploc bag and put it in the fridge to chill. Tonight we're having turkey pot pie for dinner out of the leftover turkey that I made for turkey lunch meat. We're gonna do individual servings, and then with whatever's left of the filling, I will just freeze that, and that way in the future it will be super easy. All I have to do is make pie crust, and then we have chicken pot pie on an easy weeknight. One of the things my family used to joke about growing up was that if you really liked the dish that my mom made that night, you better eat a lot of it because you're probably never going to have it again, because my mom didn't cook from recipes, and that's also how I cook. I have cooked for most of my life. I almost never cook from a recipe, and when I do, I usually change it, as you saw earlier in the video. But I'm just making a really simple chicken pot pie base here with an onion, some potatoes, some chopped garlic. Then I'm heading over to my stove and starting a basic roux with some butter and flour. Once my butter's melted, I'm actually gonna put my onions in there first. get my onions sauteing and soften them up a little bit. I've got some fresh herbs here from the garden, some rosemary, oregano, sage, and thyme. And I'm just taking a little piece of twine, wrapping it around those herbs and tying a knot. And this will go into my chicken pot pie base. It will allow the herbs to flavor the sauce, but it will allow me to be able to pull them out really easily later. I go ahead and throw them in with my onions and butter, as well as my garlic. Let that get a little bit soft. Add some black pepper, and now I'm gonna go ahead and add my flour to make my roux. Once my roux has cooked for a few minutes to get the raw flour out, I'm gonna go ahead and add some turkey stock that we made earlier. Now to that, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my potatoes, and I'm actually gonna add a little bit more turkey stock. Once that's all melted, I'm gonna add in my cubed cooked turkey and my frozen veggie mix and let it all just come up to temperature. Alrighty, my chicken pot pie filling, or turkey pot pie filling, is done. Now I am going to put this into a separate container, put it in the fridge so that way it can cool for a few hours. It's best to assemble a chicken pot pie with everything cold. I know it's kind of annoying. Just so that way the pastry doesn't start to melt from the hot crust. I made this morning so that way tonight will be really easy. All I have to do is assemble, put this in the dish, put the top crust on, pinch it, throw it in the oven, and they'll be done in about 45 minutes. I made this pie crust 2 days ago. It's been sitting in the fridge. I'm going to roll it out till it's about 1/8 of an inch thick, and then cut it into 4 6-inch rounds. I'm gonna do 2 double crust hot pies, so I need 4, and then whatever scraps are left, I will kind of stack them and roll them out, and cut them and bake them because my husband loves extra pie crust with our turkey pot pie. Pie crust is one of those things where when you're rolling it out, you really can't overdo it with the bench flour. You want to make sure that it does not. Was like, okay, if you want to. I know, right? It is about 5:45. I guess I should get the oven on, but I'm gonna go ahead and assemble the chicken pot pies and get them in the oven. I'm gonna turn the oven on 400. a lot, but I feel like it's okay. This isn't pasta. Okay, so I just went around and pressed the two pieces of dough together. The top one is overhanging, so I'm gonna kind of lift up the bottom and fold the top one under to seal it. I have another full turkey breast, and this time we're gonna try and do it on the smoker. So instead of keeping it on the bone, I'm gonna take the skin off, take it off the bone, and then I've got a super simple mix here of salt and freshly cracked black peppercorn. The recipe that I'm basing this off of says 2:1 pepper to salt, so I tried to do around that ratio, but I didn't really measure. Okay, so I'm just gonna try and dry this off a little bit so it's a little easier to work with. And now basically what I'm just gonna do is take this top layer of skin off and then cut the breast off the bone, leaving everything else intact. And I'll probably cook that and roast it for dog food and broth. Peeling it away naturally where it wants to separate. And then I'm just gonna kind of slice really close, as close as possible to the breastbone. And we've also got the tenderloin here that wants to naturally separate, so I'm just gonna pull that off. You got your bunny and your bear? So here we've got one side of the turkey breast, and now I'm gonna remove the other half of the skin. Now same deal, I'm just gonna slice this as close as possible to the breastbone. Alrighty, so we've got the carcass, which I'm gonna go ahead and put in my bowl of scrap. We've got 2 turkey breasts and 2 turkey breast tenderloins. I'm gonna dry these as much as possible and then get them kind of dry brining for about an hour with this rub. I'm gonna sprinkle my rub on the underside because that's just what's facing up right now. So I've got this going. It's gonna sit, it's 9:45 now. I'd like to get it on the smoker by 10:30. So I'm just gonna let it sit at room temperature. It's a little later than I was intending. It's like 12:30 now. My meeting went for like 2 hours. So I just got the smoker heating. I'm gonna get these going. I got it heated to like 250 degrees. So we're just gonna get them loaded in the smoker now. So I'm gonna fill the wood chip tray with our pre-soaked chips. All right, it's been an hour and I just reloaded the chips about 10 minutes ago. Let's see how it's looking. These are looking, honestly, the tenders feel done. These are looking good. Here are the tenders. It's about 3 o'clock now, like 2.5 hours since these have been on, maybe a little less than that. They are looking nice. Okay, so it looks like the probe is reading about 174. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these off. There we go.
You have a fryer?
Yeah, and then you... I've never mentioned.
Ooh. Oh my god, it smells amazing.
Yeah.
Holy
It smells like smoked.
smokes. Whoa! Man. Ooh! Watch that, buddy. Sharp, okay?
Yeah.
Mmm.
Yeah.
Probably 6 times a year. That's my guess.
Can I actually ask you to get this small skillet out of the drawer and onto the burner?
Little one. Get the little one out. You get the little one.
You know I'm gonna leave this in there, right?
Okay. You want me to get on the heat?
Yes, please.
On the heat! Is it gonna become?
Bye.
No,
Baby.
Joy. Oh, Holly, that is very offensive.
Lately, I have been making stock in the Instant Pot. But I think I want to try and do it just on the stove today since it's early enough. Also, every time I make stock in the Instant Pot, it gets like a really kind of just like smell. And I looked it up and I think it has something to do with like the pressure and the bones and the sulfur or whatever, but it's stinky and I just don't feel like stinking up the house today. So I'm going to do this on the stovetop. And just let it go for like 8 or 9 hours. Hi. Whoa. All right, so it's now the next day and my turkey stock cooked for probably about 8 or 9 hours and it got nice and thick. So here I am straining it and pouring it into my little freezer cube trays. And now with everything else, I'm gonna put it back in my Instant Pot with just a little bit of water and put it on high pressure for about 1 hour.
Doggy. Baby.
I just got done pureeing the leftover bones, meat, skin, fat, cartilage, all that stuff of the turkey carcass. Now I'm going to place the broth that I froze into a bag. I'm going to go ahead and portion out the dog food and put them in here. So that way it's in individual portions for that and I can keep it in the freezer.
Hi.
Oh, it's sticking to my thumb. Oh, it's sticking to my thumb. Damn. Okay. 7 blocks of turkey stock. Okay. So I had to puree this in batches since I have a very small food processor, and they all had like a little bit of different consistency. So I'm just gonna pour it all back into this larger vessel. Now I'm just gonna kind of mix it up until it's like one consistency, and I'm not gonna show you guys what this looks like. All right, so I've got that all portioned out. I'm gonna get the lids on and get this into the freezer. I will usually thaw like one of these and split it between both dogs. Usually I will do a little bit of supplementing. So instead of giving them their full serving of food, I'll give them maybe like 3/4 of their serving of food and add this on top. It's just something that helps us stretch their dog food a little bit more, and they love it. I do not give this to them every day, probably twice, maybe 3 times a week. They love it so much, and I truly, absolutely love that out of a whole turkey breast carcass, this is all the waste that I have, and usually I don't even have this much waste. I don't think I pressure cooked this as long as I needed to. And so these bigger bones unfortunately did not get soft enough. So I'm gonna have to toss these, but usually I literally don't have any bones left over. And then I wanted to show y'all real quick. I went ahead and took the turkey that I laid out flat and froze in individual slices, and I bagged them up so that way easy to take out. Just enough slices for one sandwich, put it in the microwave and warm it up just enough. This is going in the freezer. The dog food is going in the freezer. The broth is in the freezer. That all came from one turkey breast. This is one of my absolute favorite things to be doing lately to make sure that my family is eating healthier lunch meat, to make sure that my dogs are enjoying some really good home cooked food, to cut down on costs for both of those things, and do that all while leaving as little waste as possible. I really hope you guys enjoyed the whole process. I hope you try out either the oven roasted or the smoked turkey. If you don't try either one of these recipes or anything in here, I hope something in here inspires you to make something that you would normally buy from the grocery store. I hope that this video inspires you to make it from scratch. I hope you enjoyed watching, and don't forget to click like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this from me.